we are here with Tracy McDowell, whom we have known since we were
Nine,
9, 10, yeah.
9, 10 years old. We started in the Belasco Theater Company. Tracy, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Tracy McDowell. I joined Belasco in 6th grade, which was like the best thing that ever happened to me because I was not really into school that much. But now looking back, I think I just really needed a platform to like express myself,
Yeah.
which is why Belasco, my mom found, and I joined it, and it like literally changed my entire life. And then I moved to New York City when I was 17, and then I've been here for 20 years. Yeah. And I'm a working professional. I do this as my job. I write performer on my taxes. I sing for a living.
Amazing. Love it. Okay, so we wrote to all of our kids on social media, and we asked them, what do you want to ask Tracy McDowell, a Broadway performer? So I have a list of some fun questions. Ooh, you can't see that. From these awesome kids. So let's just start off. So The first one is from Allie, and she wants to know, what was your theater journey before you got to AMDA?
Oh, okay. So I started singing lessons, like sort of with my mom around the house when I was, let's say, like kindergarten, 3 and a half. I did my first like little show. And then when I got to Sleepy Hollow Elementary School, my mom kept asking about my music classes, and they said, we don't really have programming for that. We do the recorder and that, but we didn't really have music programming. So my mom and 2 other moms and 1 other dad built a program at Sleepy Hollow, and they produced shows. They wrote shows. They wrote like different lyrics to famous songs, and they wrote scripts every year. So I started auditioning, and then my mom said she saw that I was good. And so she sort of backed away. So parents weren't like, your daughter's the lead of everything. And she sort of let me do my own journey. And I loved it. And then I got a voice teacher in 3rd grade. It's so funny looking back too, when people would say, wow, you're really good, you should get a voice teacher. I would be so offended. Like, how dare you? I'm amazing. I'm in 3rd grade. So I got a voice teacher, and I started practicing piano, practicing voice. And then once I got into 6th grade, I was like not really finding my people, my place. And there was a 6th grade camp. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
And I did not go to 6th grade camp because I was like, I don't want to. I don't know why I didn't want to. And my mom found Belasco through Robert Lundeen. Do you remember him?
Uh-huh.
Yes. He introduced us to it. We went to see a show, and I was like, what is this?
Right.
And so I auditioned, and I started, and I literally went, like, Belasco was life. Like, that was it. And I did shows every single year till junior year. And then I did also all the shows at Miramonte, every chorus thing at intermediate school. And then in Miramonte, I didn't do Belasco like my senior year. I did Woodminster with Jerusha, which was, now I work with those performers, and I'm like, I was a little kid, and these people were like stars,
Yeah.
And it was crazy. Woodminster was like an equity theater in, where is it? No,
it's in Oakland, and it's still going. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. So some of those professional adults that I worked with in high school, I have worked with since in New York, which is insane. And after that, I auditioned for a bunch of schools. And my grades were like, okay, my SAT scores were good, but I really just had my heart set on New York. And New York only had, NYU was like everything. And you really had to have like a 4.0 and have the best grades in the world. It was really hard to get in. So I got into like the theater program, but I'd have to take like a crazy summer, a bunch of other math classes and stuff that I was like, I don't know. And I got into school in Florida, which is actually where Rob Peterson from Belasco went.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just ran into him actually. And I was like, do I want to go to Florida? I don't want to go to Florida. I want to go to New York.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got into AMDA, I got a scholarship, and I was like, let's just do this. I'm just going to go to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, and my dad dropped me off, and it was just like 100 people that I needed to be with. like right away. And all we did was eat, sleep, and breathe theater, and it was awesome. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Cool.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So, well, I'll get to that, but I'm actually going to jump down to Scout, who's asking, we have a couple kids who are actually going to go to AMDA. We have a couple of our graduates going to AMDA. So they're asking, Scout specifically is asking, how did AMDA shape your career?
You know, it was really cutthroat when I went. It was smaller than it is now. I think we had like 50 kids quit within the first month.
Wow.
And they said that when they got there, they're like, this is not going to be your crew. Just watch. And like by the end, I think it was me, Casey Levy, Broadway's Elsa. Yep. We were in class together, a bunch of other of my friends. It was just like you saw people who really wanted to do it. Yeah. And the class just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Also, something that I think is phenomenal and what I learned is like, yeah, natural talent, like, but everybody can sing. I sat in on an audition the other day. Everybody was good. I mean, not everybody was right, but like, everyone's good. What do you have? Like, what are you bringing to the table? And I think that's what I really learned. Like, what's your thing? Right. Because so many people can sing, so many people can dance, so many people can act, but like, what makes you special? And I think I learned that about myself. I learned I needed to work hard and not rely on natural stuff. Yeah. And to really put in the work. And I think that's a lesson I still learn. I took a voice lesson this afternoon. Yeah. Like I take acting class every week. Yeah. It's just, there's always muscles to use. And sometimes you don't need a voice lesson every day if you're singing all the time, but it's always good to brush up. And I learned that watching the people who were like maybe the weak links in the beginning now be like huge working actors on Broadway. And I'm like, see, you never know. It is not the star from high school or the star, like if you put in the work, like you can do anything.
Yeah. And how was it like, as you're watching all of these people kind of fall away from this big group that it started out, how did you keep your self-confidence, or what was that journey? Because I'm assuming that would have been
totally. And I think because AMDA was a 2-year school, a 4-year program, they sort of break you down and then build you up. And it's probably better to do over 4 years. I went to 2 years at AMDA, then 2 years at the new school. So I had 2 years where I wasn't really doing theater. I was just sort of focusing on singing. And I think that's like this same journey you would have as a college student. Right. But a 4-year school just like was not in my cards. It wouldn't have, But I think that you lose a lot of confidence when you first get there, because you have to sort of strip away everything you thought you knew. Yeah. And then bring that back together. Right. And I think self-confidence still, I was talking to my husband about this, like every year it gets better and easier, but then there's like a new thing that comes up. Yeah. But right now I don't care anymore. I'm like, I'm good. This is what I do. So if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, that's that.
Right. Exactly.
And then you do more stuff. You take more challenges. I mean, like, lean into that. Yeah.
How often would you say that you were going out on auditions? Like once you were out of school, or even if you were still in school? Yeah.
I didn't audition during school because they asked us not to.
Gotcha.
But I would recommend like doing summer stock. Yeah. Over the summers, because that would have been fun. I just went home like, and I did summer program stuff in the Bay Area. Yeah. But just, you want to keep those muscles like going. But after school, I went to auditions every day. I mean, we went every day and got lots of callbacks and did lots of stuff. And then I was going to the new school, and I didn't get Maureen on the tour. Casey Levy actually got it. And I quit auditioning for a year. I did like little things, but it like, that was where it like broke my heart. I was like, I was sure I got it. And I found out like out with friends, and I was just like, because you had an audition for so long, it really like was an awakening of like, I have to really put in this work if I'm going to book something. And I can't have hurt feelings about it every day, because you get told no every day. Right. So yeah. So I think I started auditioning a lot, and then I didn't audition for a year, and then I waited in line with 3,000 people and booked the Rent tour is Maureen finally. So,
Woo.
4 a.m. That was a really long day, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
I love it.
insane.
Okay, let's see. So Bevan is asking, how old were you when you were first on Broadway?
I was 24.
Ding, ding, correct. I mean,
Yeah, no, wait, no, 25. I was just about to turn 25. Yeah.
25. Wow.
Oh my God. And it was such a relief because when you tell people you want to be on Broadway, I'm like, why did I ever say that out loud? That's like being in the NFL.
Right.
I should have kept it a secret. No, but it's like, it was like a relief. And to be honest, I have friends who work like on tours and regionally nonstop. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Broadway is just a name.
Yeah.
It's the same work doing it anywhere, but
right.
you know, it's a check mark.
Right. Exactly. So brother and sister team, Noah and Sophie, want to ask, how do you prepare for an audition and does it get easier?
Yes, it does get easier. What I learned is you have to prepare, learn your stuff, memorize, get as off book as you can, know your character. Yeah. I always say like, pick your power song, like the song I listen to on the way to my audition. I have like a couple different ones. If I'm getting ready for Dear Evan Hansen, I'm going to pick a different song than when I was getting ready for Motown, obviously.
Right.
You pick that song that like gets you in the mindset, and then I let it go. Like you can also rehearse something to death and overthink it. When you know it, trust trust you are enough, and just leave it, let it go. Right. And just do your thing. Because the most important thing is to have fun in the room. If you're like completely petrified every day, like that's crazy.
Right.
It's I remember I was thinking yesterday when I was thinking about these questions, like when I would lay in bed and like not be able to sleep the night before an audition. And one day I was just like, that's it. This is crazy. Like that doesn't make any sense. And I look horrible in the morning and I'm like so tired.
Right.
And you're already going to have to wait, So now I just really trust that I trust myself. Yes. Like I know this, I did the practice. I'm going to go in there. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Yeah. And then I let it go.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And drink water. Go to bed and drink water.
Yeah.
Everyone always asks for like singing tricks. I'm like, drink water. I mean, that's like really, there's all these crazy contraptions. I mean, a ginger tea and stuff if you're sick, if there's an emergency, but take good care of yourself.
Yeah, sleep, stay hydrated. Makes sense. Yeah. So Andrew wants to know, what's the usual day in the life of a Broadway performer?
Ooh, like when you're in a show?
Yeah.
I would say you get up and you have to do your regular daytime stuff, right? But I always say, try not to talk till noon. Mm-hmm. That's my thing. Yeah. Everyone works out. Like even if you're 1 pound or 200 pounds, all of us do some sort of exercise. Like you have to keep your body working for you as well, because singing is your body. It's your skeleton. It's your lungs. Like you need to keep your body moving. Yeah. So even if it's a yoga, a stretch, something to get your body going. Right. I try to relax. Once you're in the swing of the show, you know it. Thursdays and Fridays, if you're in a show, is when you rehearse. And then I take like a super hot shower before I get ready to go and warm up. Yep. Also, there's a such thing as overwarming up your voice. Mm-hmm. If you are starting to talk all day and you talk properly, and you're not talking like this on your chorus, and you're talking properly, you should be warmed up and ready to go. Yeah. And then, then just hop on the subway and get there early, because on time is late.
That's right. Everybody. I love it.
Don't be late. It's so rude, and it means that everyone's time is not important but yours. And you don't know what's going to happen between the half hour and the show starting. Right. You get there 15 minutes early, you have that extra time to just like relax.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Accountability, right? It's huge.
Yeah. And you don't know if you're an understudy or a swing, you have no clue what you're doing.
Right.
I mean, you could be playing 3 parts in a night and have to figure that out. So you just want to be on top of your game.
Right. Totally makes sense. So Michaela is asking, do you still get nervous before you go on stage?
Yes, and I love it. That's my favorite thing. Mm-hmm. And when I don't feel that, that's when it's time for me to leave the job that I'm in. I like love that feeling. And I take away nerves and think excited because it's excitement.
Yes.
Nervous is like a useless thing. I always feel like if I want to get those butterflies like right before, like when it gets really quiet and you're putting on your makeup and you're like, oh, here we go. Because if you don't have that, you don't have that adrenaline, that fire. That's, to me, that's like the best high in the world. Like it's like after you run, miles, like that endorphin. I love that. Yeah. So I definitely do.
We tell our kids that there was this study, which I don't have pulled up, that talks about that they had someone in an fMRI, and when they looked at their brain, when they felt nervous versus when they felt excited, it was lighting up similar parts of the brain. And so it's the same experience, even though you're putting a different spin on it. You're maybe coming from a different direction, but it really is so similar, if not the same. And so we tell the kids, like, whenever you feel those nerves, just like jazz hands it out, and you're like, I'm excited. It's excitement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
So
we always talk about those like other voices that like, while I'm singing, I'm like, la, la, la. And there's another voice that's like, you don't know the next word. And I'm like, yes. As I'm singing in my head, it's like, you don't know it. Yes, I do. I'm like, that's not helpful. Yeah.
That's perfect. That leads me into a question from Bella, who says, do you have any advice for like improvising, or what do you do when you see that you're forgetting something when you're on stage? If it has happened.
Yeah. I think it's like, trust it. You know, it's coming.
Yeah.
You know the lines. I mean, you just do. And also, I was in Rent on Broadway, and Michael McElroy, who's part of Broadway Inspirational Voices, that amazing, if you don't know what it is, Google it. Incredible. It's this huge Broadway chorus. He like kind of cracked on a note, and he's nominated for a Tony. I mean, he's incredible. And he came off stage, and I was so young. He looked at me and just said, we have 6 more shows, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I'm going to get it tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, we have 6 more shows. You're going to get it tomorrow. It happens. Like, it happens. And you don't want to get yourself in a tailspin of like, I'm going to forget. I'm going to crack. I'm going to this. That's like no fun. Right? And this is like your thing.
Right.
And sometimes you are going to crack, and sometimes you are going to be sick.
Yeah.
It's about being professional and continuing the story forward. Right. And just like being like when I sing a song that is sad, I had a great coach, Craig Carnelia, who wrote some Broadway shows, amazing guy. He was like, as soon as you feel yourself getting away with your emotion, think of the melody. And I think that's so important. Like, go to like the most basic thing. Like, now I sing this, now I sing this, you'll get back into the song. And same with the scene. You also have a scene partner.
Yeah.
You can always look to your partner, and they will know. If you have a good partner, you're like,
yeah, that's awesome.
Next line.
Okay, so now that we're picturing you on Broadway in Rent or in Motown or all the things that you did, Emily is wondering, how is Broadway different from being in kind of some of the regional theater or even the youth theater that you did? Did you feel like the youth theater prepared you, or how is it?
I do think it prepared me. It's very similar. The only thing that's different is that it's a job.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that can get like mundane, if that makes sense. Cause it's like, now I call it like a 9 to 5. You're like, I go here, I do this, I do the show, I go home. I do that. It's the same thing every day. So you kind of have to give it life and make it exciting.
Yeah.
Tour is kind of like you're in a different world. So it's a different feeling. And a regional theater, you're in like one contained place, and it's like separated from your daily life. When you're on Broadway and in New York, you still have to, pay your bills, do your laundry, blah, blah, blah. Like there's a work aspect to it.
Yes.
And I think it's just the same trick as it is with any show, is keeping it exciting every day.
Yeah. And how do you do that? Like, how do you keep it,
I think like we all play like, we've been in shows where we play like little games. Like somebody passed a note around on stage one day, and it's like, how can you high five each person? Can you say this word quietly? Like baseball hat, whatever it is, like cat. It's like how many times, and it's just like being kind to each other and being excited to be there together. And everyone backstage, love your crew. They're the most important people in the entire world. Without them, there are no lights, There's nothing. There's
Right.
no curtain. There's no sets. There's no props. So like, I feel like there's so much backstageography, we always call it. And I love that. Like, this is when I high five my dresser. This is when I like throw that shoe in that basket. Like, there's a fun routine that you sort of do to make it exciting every day.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. When do you, so Andrew is asking, do you get notes on your scenes from the directors?
Oh yes. You get notes forever. You get notes forever. There's an associate director that normally is there more often than the director, because most of the time the directors set the show and then they move on, but they always come back. And you're always getting notes. And I think something that is hard to learn when you're young, but you'll learn as you get older, is like, notes are what keeps it exciting, right?
Yeah.
To me, it's like, even if I don't love the note, I don't see the show. I don't know what I look like.
Right.
That's his job. My job is to take the note, whether I like it or not, and make it like an activity. You don't want to do the same exact thing every day. You have got to keep it exciting. I mean, you want consistency in the show, but I think taking notes, being respectful of them, and I always think of it as like a video game. That's sort of my thing. It's like, if it's a new thing, I'm like, all right, well, for me to complete this level today, I have to hit this note, and this note.
Right.
And otherwise, I mean, you want to brush it up. You want the show to always look nice. People pay a lot of money for that. So yes, I get notes, and it's take them and be grateful.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, it's a job also.
Yeah.
Right? So so Dan is asking, what is the craziest thing that happened to you on stage?
Oh, so many things. I have so many things. Speaking of like forgetting lines, we had done like on the Rent tour, the second leg of my first round of it. I was in Rent for 80 years. But we were in Canada and we had done one-nighters, which means like you do the show, you get up, you go home, you go to the hotel, go to sleep for like 5 hours, get on the bus, drive to the next city, do the show, and you do it. It's insane. Wow. It's good training, but woo, gosh, it really kicks your bootay. Yeah. So like we got to our final one and we were about to have a layoff. And I was looking at my friends and I was in this scene, I thought, and I just started speaking like nonsense. I was like, who said you see and being exactly? And everybody just like turned their head down. And I was like, I hate all of you. None of you are my friends. I'm like, what am I saying? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But it's like saying every single day, it's like when you say your name over and over and over again, you're like, what is my name? What is a name? Yeah, like so that was really embarrassing. I also in Rent, these are like two like ones that stick out. Yeah. Somebody pulled the guitar cord, but I didn't see, and I'm wearing platform boots, like huge. I tripped and I just fell on my face in like the funeral scene. So I was like, she was huddled in the park, and I was just crawled around the table until I could get the table and stand up. I was like, oh my God, I just fell on my face. But I've seen people like jump to do a move, and like I Rent off Broadway. I karate chopped. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I karate chopped a light and broke it in half. Like in a dance, I did a big turn and it was like whack, and I was like, there's glass all over the stage. There's glass all over the stage. Gosh. Yeah. There's so many. I mean, lights go out. Yeah. A light exploded on stage, so there was like a fireball going across.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you're like, do I stay in the scene or do I run away?
Right. Oh my
Stay in the scene.
Yeah. Okay, let me take a look. Okay, so let's see. Someone's asking, okay, Georgie is asking, for you, what is the best thing about being on Broadway? And I would extend that to say, what's the best thing about being a performer?
Yeah. I would just say getting to do what you love every day. I mean, and for me, it's like the audience, 100%. Like we love for the audience to be changed by something you do. I mean, when I go see a Broadway show, Dear Evan Hansen I saw, and I was like weak. Like I just was crying so hard. And I'm like, and these are my friends. Like I know these people, and you just have to be like, we don't even know what we're doing to the audience, you know, and that's so, so special. I also, like, as a performer, love creating my own stuff. I do a lot of concerts all over the world. And that's been so, so exciting. Just getting to the point in my career where I could say, hey, theater company in so-and-so, my friend and I are producing this show, and we get to go there and do amazing rock singing in a mountain town in Montana. Like, it's so fun to be able to do your own stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's a freedom outside of just Broadway, being able to do shows all over and explore all different parts of your talents. And if you want to do TV and film, like, I've been doing a lot more of just singing in a straight up concert, or doing a regional production, or doing a straight play. Like, there's so much to do. You have to keep yourself excited. I had a teacher once say, like, when you don't get those butterflies anymore, it's time to, like, hang up the boots, you know?
Oh, yeah. It makes sense. But keeping it fresh like that and looking at different parts of the industry, and it's also different parts of yourself that are going to be coming out in these different environments.
And teaching, like, I teach so many voice lessons, FaceTime, Skype, with kids that I've worked with all over. And I love teaching workshops too. Like, that's another passion, because you get to be like, oh my God, I remember being you. And, like, this is so fun. Like, I wish I had these people coming to teach me when I was a little kid too.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So going into that maybe a little bit, and then I'll go back to some other fun stuff. But Emily asks, like, knowing what you know now as a performer, what would you go back and tell your 12-year-old self?
I know. I'm like, this makes me cry. But I would say, and I after having a kid, like, I thought a lot about this. I would say, just be kind to yourself, and know that, like, people are going to say, like, you know, whatever, you sing too loud, you sing wrong, you do this. And it's like, just don't listen to any of that nonsense. Just do what you love and just follow the dream. Just do it. And know that, like, you're going to get there. You're going to get somewhere. If it's not Broadway, it's going to help you be an amazing speaker. It's going to help you have, like, a big, huge heart and a love for being creative. Like, there's so much about it. It's not about being the lead or being in the ensemble, whatever it is. It's just doing what you love, and just being super kind to yourself. And don't listen to all the nonsense. No one knows what they're talking about.
Or where you're going.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know.
Exactly.
100%.
So you even said earlier, when we talked earlier, that, you know, theater kind of saved your life, you know, and I think a lot of us feel that way. Could you elaborate on that a little bit more too?
Totally. I think, like, you know, like, everyone has, like, parents who got divorced, or self-image, body issues. Like, I had all of that business. And I think theater was a place where I always felt like we were like the X-Men, that we could, like, go there and be like a whole new, oh God, I know, I think every time I talk to kids, I'm like, and I'm crying again. But it was like such a safe space. And even though it was hard, and, you know, you had to battle out for leads and that, or whatever part you wanted, and there was all the other silly nonsense, it was still a place where I just felt like these were my people. And you just got to do you. We could all be nerds, and, like, we didn't have to wear the coolest outfit, or we could just, like, do our thing.
Right.
And I think it gave me a place to really express myself, and just, like, I was like a safe space. I mean, even my senior year in high school, I still took, like, 8 periods of school, and, like, 3 of those were chorus and 2 were, like, drama. Like, I just wanted to do it forever, because it was the safest place for me to be.
I love it. All right, I'm going to end with a couple of lighter questions. So I want to know, and let's see who's asking this. Adeline is asking, so out of all the roles that you've played, and I'd say, like, from childhood on till today, which one has been your favorite and why?
Okay, this is so random, but I loved Rosemary and How to Succeed. The show is a hit. Bring it back again.
We're gonna do it. We'll do it.
Oh, I love that show, and there's so many fun parts. I loved Rosemary. I loved Maureen, obviously. That was like written for me. It was like me to the T. It was so, so, so much fun. And I would say Hair, Sheila and Hair. That was like a real dream role.
Wow.
Yeah.
And lastly, and I bet it's changing, or maybe it isn't changing, it's always been the same, but do you have a favorite musical? Liza wants to know.
Okay, guys, Little Abner. So random. Really? Everyone's like, really? I'm like, I love it. It's so
good.
Now, Little Abner is like my favorite. Like, I wish I could do that show right now. Like, barefoot, silly, like crazy dancing. Like,
one costume.
Amazing. Yeah, so cute.
Yeah.
But Dear Evan Hansen, that show really, I like could listen to that soundtrack forever.
Yeah.
I loved Dear Evan Hansen. I love something that just like seems so important. Then I also love A Six, the musical, because that was everything.
Yes.
But yeah, Dear Evan Hansen is probably, it's one of my favorite theater experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish one day, not old enough yet, but
wow.
I would love. Yeah. So
well, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but here I go putting you on the spot.
Go.
If you want to like sing us a tiny little ditty of anything, it could be Rosemary or Maureen.
Let's see. I should do it. I'll do Take Me Away. Every single day I walk down the street, I hear people say, baby, so sweet. Ever since puberty, everybody stares at me, boys and girls, and I can't help it, baby. So be kind, don't lose your mind. Just remember that I'm your baby. Take me for what I am, who I was meant to be. And if you give a damn, take me, baby, or leave me.
Awesome.
Thank you. I love you so
Thank
much.
you.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, so special for us. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yes.
From all of our students. I mean, this means the world to us. This means the world to them, especially right now. Thank you for taking your time. And once again, this has been Shayna and Jerusha from the I Can Do That Theater Company with the one and only Tracy McDowell. Thank you. We love you. And we truly hope that when you come back to California and you're visiting, we'd love to have you to the New Performing Arts Center to lead a workshop.
Please. I'd love it.
Done. Okay. We love you. We'll talk soon.
Yay.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, guys.